Welcome to Northern Michigan Update. I'm State Senator Jason Allen, and today we're going to be learning about the Michigan Education Trust and the Michigan Education Savings Program. Marc, and it's very nice to have you here, and Robyn, we appreciate you being part of this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So to kind of go back, I as a legislator had a little bit of involvement in the Michigan Education Savings Program back under the Engler administration, and the Michigan Education Trust has been around since the early 80s. And this was designed as programs to help our children in Northern Michigan be able to go to college. So Robyn, why don't we start out with a little bit on the Michigan Education Trust and talk a little bit about that, because they're two different programs and work very well for families on investment for college.
That's true. We now are known as the 529 programs.
Okay.
Prepaid tuition being the Michigan Education Trust, investment-based or savings being the Michigan Education Savings Program. The MET program, prepaid tuition, allows families and others to lock in at today's college cost. They're basically purchasing a certain number of credit hours at today's rate. We're pooling the funds together for investment purposes and making it available to pay tuition when the child decides to go to college. So we do this in a way that the child doesn't have to tell us, or the parent doesn't have to tell us right away where their child's going, but they'll be covered fully if their child goes to a Michigan public college. If their child goes out of state, they will have some refund amount available based on the costs at the public colleges, or if they go in-state private, likewise, just a little different calculation of a refund, a little higher refund if they stay in-state, but to cover tuition and mandatory fees at those colleges. Now, keeping in mind, tuition and mandatory fees are probably only half the cost, half the total cost of higher education. So we are here together to always promote the concept that you need both programs to really save for the total cost. And we both have some great tax advantages that will help those families save.
Very good. Well, let's start off with this, and then we'll get to Marc on the Education Savings Program. Now, we have different classes of colleges, and so if you can tell us sort of like if I go to North Central Michigan College, which is a community college in Petoskey, or Northwestern Michigan College, and then or Lake States, or then if our kid wants to go to like an Albion or an Adrian, kind of go through how that all works.
Okay, great. The we have three types of contracts, first of all, that we offer, that you have to choose, which one are you going to purchase. You have a full benefits, a limited benefits, and a community college. Your full benefits contract is one of the university types of contracts, which basically you're locking in at the university costs. We have 15 public universities, Lake Superior State University being one, Northern Michigan University. If you were to purchase a 1-year full benefits contract and your child went to those universities, you would be basically getting 30 credit hours at the in-state rate whenever they decide to go. So whatever the rate is in the future. And we'll stay on that full benefits contract concept. Let's say the same 1-year contract is purchased, but the student goes to Albion or Kalamazoo College, Michigan Private College, anywhere in Michigan. Then we calculate a refund of weighted average tuition. We pay that directly to the private college as necessary until it's used up.
Okay, so the first area on the weighted average, so if I'm going to one of the private colleges, then you would take what the cost is at Lake States all the way to the University of Michigan, is that
correct? And weight it by the number of full-time students to come up with a dollar figure. And I believe this year it's something like 9,300. We'll use that as an example. 9,300 might be weighted average tuition, but if my child's going to go to Harvard or Howard University, then we're going to use 9,000 as considered average. Flat average of the Michigan public 4-year universities, about 9,000. But we would pay that refund out over a 4-year period of time. Now let's use the same concept of a full benefits contract, but my child is going to go to North Central Community College. Then you can use the contract there, but we would first say to you, maybe you want to save it if it's just a 1-year contract, use it when they transfer to Northern Michigan. But let's say that's the only place they decided to go. We would still pay up to the out-of-district rate if that's the case. To North Central or Michigan
Northwestern
University.
Those are colleges. Those are our community colleges, and they're great. And we really appreciate that. So they'd love to be a university, and so maybe that's foretelling.
College, correct. Yes, maybe they're getting ready to switch over. Then we would pay those number of credit hours, but we would make sure that we've at least paid out prepaid tuition, because the cost of a full benefits contract versus the community college contract is going to be significantly higher. But you do have the opportunity to purchase community college contract, which then would be equivalent to 30 credit hours at any community college in the state at the in-district rate.
Oh, wonderful.
Okay, a lot lower in cost, locks you in. Yes, you can mix and match the options. So you could purchase a 2-year community college contract for a child and a 2-year university contract, so on and so forth. The limited.
Okay, let's a couple of questions. Now, when you talked about the out-of-state going to like a Howard or a Harvard, you said a 4-year payout. That's for a 1-year contract or for a 4-year contract?
It doesn't matter how many years you purchase, so good point to bring up.
So
the payout is going to be over a 4-year period, regardless if you only bought 1 year or up to 4 years.
For out-of-state? For
out-of-state.
Gotcha.
But in-state private, we say what's weighted average tuition, that 9,300 figure, times the number of years you've purchased, but we pay that out as necessary. So every semester the school bills against the total till it's used up. Most cases those refunds are paid out within a year, year and a half, because the private colleges in Michigan are more expensive.
Very good.
Yes.
Okay, so now then we talked about this issue of going from, you bought 4 years of university contracts, and one of those years you want to go to community college. Now, can you just bank that year if you decide not to utilize it and use that for a graduate school?
You could.
Okay.
And let's say your child only spent 30 credits at a community college and transferred over to university. Now they've graduated university, and either because of that scenario where they've paid for community college on their own, or they've earned advanced placement credit hours at the high school level. They graduate college, they have credit hours left over. Met will continue to pay at the undergrad tuition rate for those credit hours. If they're going to grad school, they'll just pay the difference between the undergrad rate and the grad rate. Okay.
Do we have a graduate
We don't.
Okay.
MESP is our
All right, very good. So segueing right in there. All right. So now how does MESP work, and what are the modifications that we've done over the years on that?
Well, MESP is what most people think of when they talk about a 529 program. It is a savings and investment program in which you take a look at the available investment options, decide which one best meets your needs, fits your budget, and off you go. People can open an account with as little as $25 or $15 if they wish to contribute by way of payroll deduction. There's a wide range of investment options going from the age-based all the way to what would be called static investment options. A static investment option might be a single fund, or it might be a collection of funds, but the composition of that option does not change over time. The most popular options are the age-based allocations, which tend to start out fairly well weighted towards equities, more aggressive, and then as time goes by, we adjust the portfolio to become increasingly conservative. Because, and I think the past few years have borne this out, nobody wants to have a teenager home and have to worry too much about the stock market. You can use MESP at virtually any post-secondary school in the country, as long as the school is accredited and as long as it is eligible to provide federal financial assistance. And that spans the range from vocational to community colleges, 4-year schools, grad school, professional school, PhD programs, in-state, out-of-state, public or private. So it provides a great deal of portability. And that's something that many people are interested in, especially since, frankly, people come and go. Not everybody stays in the same place forever. Kids, unfortunately, may move out of state or go to school out of state.
And do you have a payroll deduction program?
Yes, we
too?
do.
Okay.
Yes,
And
we
so
offer
people-
payroll
Absolutely.
deduction.
Okay.
We offer ACH, where funds are taken right out of your checking or savings, or coupons where you can just send it in with a check.
Okay,
Yep.
very good. And I know that we've got one for both of my daughters, Meredith and Amanda, in the MESP program, and that's worked out very well. So now, if you're an employee in Northern Michigan, is it fairly simple to go in and set up an automatic deduction program with your boss?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. Usually just a phone call if there's any difficulty, but we have payroll deduction forms that you submit to the program. Program then communicates with your employer to set it up.
Okay.